Introducing the brand new 2008 Mini Cooper S to the channel here. What's up everybody, Supercar fan here for Mini Weekly Update number 6 on this Friday. So what's new with the Mini? Well, I passed 50,000 miles and I don't want to jinx myself or anything, but so many people were like, these cars are unreliable, and I know I've only had it for, not even 2 months yet, but I got it with 46,000 miles, so I've already put 4,000 miles on this car in, less than 2 months. I'm driving it a lot and still, it's performing flawlessly. I'm really enjoying it. It's it's a great car. So yeah, but nothing else new with it. And I know some people commented in the past that there's nothing new with the Mini, just get on with the news because you don't want to hear me ramble about nothing. So yeah, we'll just get on to the news. Right, so for this week's news, first thing is a rumor. Do not get excited, but a news source in Australia, it seems like all of these really awesome Subaru rumors are all coming from Australia. There's a new one here saying the Subaru SVX is going to be resurrected. The SVX was a spacey looking coupe that Subaru built back in the 90s that had all-wheel drive and a flat 6-cylinder engine and was pretty cool for its time, but it did not sell very well. And so that alone is enough reason to not believe this report. But it gets even better. So there's all kinds of interesting stuff that this report says. First, it says it's going to look like the Visiv 2 concept we saw in Geneva. It's going to be a shooting brake style car if this unicorn ever gets made. And so they're saying it would ride on the same new global platform that the Subaru Tribeca rides on, which means this would be a big car. So the new Tribeca, they're going to be coming out, the new 7-passenger SUV, they're saying that same platform is going to be used for this coupe. And they're just, I don't know, the things that they're citing here are really interesting. They're saying it's going to be more aggressive in its design, and they're saying that it's going to use a 3.3-liter 6-cylinder boxer engine, which Subaru currently doesn't make, so they'd have to make an all-new engine for this car. Apparently that's what they're planning to do, according to this report, and it would be a hybrid, so it's going to use a Lexus battery and an electric motor system from Toyota. Total output, they're saying, is 375 horsepower, all-wheel drive. Yes, so the funniest thing is that they're saying the reason why Subaru's considering this is because the dealers are begging for it. The dealers want a high horsepower all-wheel drive coupe. I know lots of you want that, but dealers don't. BRZs are still sitting around the lots. The nearby Subaru dealership has 3 BRZs sitting around. I think my BRZ that I traded in, that's still sitting on the lot. They're not hot sellers anymore, so this is extremely hard to believe. It would be very awesome and wonderful if it did happen. But, and they actually, Autoblog contacted Subaru spokesman Dominic Infante, who's one of the high-up guys in Subaru, and he's like, no, we haven't heard anything like this. Now, he could just be lying, and it's a top-secret, amazing, wonderful project, and they're going to blow everyone's minds, but I really would not get your hopes up. I know that's something a lot of people want, like I said, but don't expect anything like this, but it's an interesting rumor, and if it comes true, we'll be all overjoyed. Next is a report, and this is true. Maserati's ramping up production of the Ghibli and Quattroporte because they're so popular, which makes me really happy, because Maserati was going for more sales, and these new cars were going to hopefully further their sales goals, and looks like that's what's happening here. They are having to ramp up production because the Ghibli and the Quattroporte are so popular, which is really good to hear. I was really always rooting for Maserati because I love them as a company. I thought their Super Bowl commercial was really cool and a unique way to reintroduce themselves to America and things like that, so that's really good to hear. Other good news, another brand I've been rooting for is McLaren. McLaren Automotive says that they've posted their first yearly profit this year, which is, it's about time because they've put some outstanding cars on the road, and you always want to see a new sports car company do well, and it's good to see them doing well. I never like seeing anyone fail, and so it's good to hear that McLaren is finally profitable. Some other cool news is Toyota is working on cars that hover above the roadway. So basically, they're saying that, well, one of the limiting factors for fuel economy is the tires. And so if the tires aren't touching the ground, you'll get better fuel economy. So they want to do like a hovercraft style system where, to get up and going, I suppose, you would it would be on the ground at some point, but then as it would start moving, it would hover, I think, and kind of just glide along and it'll be very efficient. So I think maybe the future is slowly going to be here, but it's just really sweet. I mean, maybe we'll have flying cars one day after all, so that's cool to see. Talking about futuristic stuff, Nissan debuted their Vision Gran Turismo concept that they did. They're, like I mentioned last week, all these different companies are doing these video game cars. They're not even real concept cars, they're just video game creations. But this one, people are thinking might tease the future GTR. It's obviously much more radical than a production car would ever be. As much as we would love to see that in the flesh, don't count on that. But it could, they could take some cues from this to put in the next GTR. And it's interesting because I read a report just today that they're going to be coming out with a brand new GTR next year, which is hard to believe considering we haven't even seen any test mules or anything, and the R35 GTRs were spotted for years before we ever saw the production version. So I feel like this is all happening too fast, but it could actually be true. But they're saying the next GTR is going to gain weight because it's going to use some of the Le Mans technology from the GTR race cars. So, this would be shooting after, like how Porsche is considering incorporating some of the 918 technology into the 911 Turbo and things like that to take it to the next level. I think everyone's kind of sensing that the next stage for supercars and sports cars is having electric motors to kick in and just give you unbelievable torque that you would never get with an engine. So this is saying that they're going to use some kind of hybrid system and probably get heavier. But yeah, they're saying it could be here as soon as next year, or it could be a 2016 model. So it could even be here by the end of this year. Who knows? But very, very sweet to see that, and looking forward to hearing more. Other GTR-related news is there was a report this week talking about the Infiniti Q50 Rouge that they've been talking about whether or not they want to build it and all this kind of stuff. And they're saying, as a hypothetical, if they did build this car, it would be very low units, 250 to 500 a year they would expect to sell, so very limited. It would be a rare sight to see one of these. And they're saying they're looking at a car that'd be $100 grand. Which kind of shocks some people, but I think that's a bargain. You can't even get a GTR for $100 grand anymore. So to get GTR engine, probably not GTR performance, but because this car will be a little heavier, but you'd get almost a more luxurious four-door GTR for cheaper than the price of a normal GTR. Sounds like a good value to me, actually. But yeah, I don't know how people would feel about a $100,000 Infiniti. But yeah, that'd be awesome. I think they should still go for it. I don't know if they're trying to scare people away with these numbers or what, but hey, make it limited production. Make it $100,000. I don't care. I just want to see this car get built. It could be $150 for all I care. I think it would still sell really well. Next is Pagani says they're planning a track-focused Huayra Nürburgring edition. So, how they do all these special editions, and I think they just were talking about doing more Zondas, and they always say, well, this is the last Zonda, we're absolutely done, and then they make another one. And so now I think they're finally just moving on to Huayra variants, and so now we have a Nürburgring edition, which is probably a little more hardcore, track-focused. But I don't know, they probably have several years left on their waiting list for standard Huayras. I don't think, a lot of people are like, well, you know what, the Huayra is really stale, we should include a new version. So don't see a need for this, but hey, that's sweet. I'm not going to complain about it. It's just a rumor anyway, but not going to complain about some new Paganis. Next is this Bentley SUV that's been teased, and we've been talking about it here off and on. It was finally spotted out in the open with the full actual body. It's got a little bit of camo on it, but I mean, they're actually promoting the car on the side of the camouflage car. It says newbentley.com, so they're clearly trying to generate buzz, and this car, isn't very heavily camouflaged. You can see basically what it's going to look like. It looks exactly like a Continental Flying Spur that's been lifted, basically. It looks good, though. I think it's translated really well. It's conservative, and I think it looks really good. I think that's a good idea. So can't wait to see the production version of that, hopefully soon. Some other news for those of us here in the U.S. is the Alfa Romeo 4C. They've officially said, yes, we're bringing it here, and it's going to cost $53,900 in the U.S. And it also is going to gain 342 pounds, which has a lot of people up in arms. But the things that they're doing is basically our federal crash regulations here in America say that the car had to be more rigid. So the car has a carbon fiber tub, but apparently it wasn't thick enough, so they had to make it thicker. On top of that, there's additional crash structures that are going to have side airbags, which people are upset about. I think all of these are good improvements. Yes, 342 pounds is a lot, but I don't know, to me safety is more important than having a slightly faster lap time. So yeah, this car's going to have side airbags, going to be a whole lot safer than the European version, And yeah, so they're going to be available here, though, I think sometime in the next couple of months. So that's good to hear, though. I'm glad we're getting the car at all. You know, it'd be much easier for Alfa to just say, you know what, we'll just leave it in Europe. We don't want to do all these changes, but they're doing them for us. And I really appreciate that, Alfa Romeo. I can't wait to see some of these on the streets. While I'm talking about these new 4Cs, Alfa Romeo has announced which dealerships are going to be coming where. And so they're going to have 86 Alfa Romeo franchises across North America. So yeah, there's actually going to be 2 dealerships near me that are going to be getting Alfa Romeos, and so that's really exciting. They're not saying exactly what they're bringing over yet. You know, we got a kind of a long-term plan for Alfa Romeo a few weeks ago. You know, their whole plans were listed, and you know, so we kind of know what's coming somewhat, but we still don't know when and everything. But exciting to hear that Alfa Romeo is officially making their return, finally. People have been talking about this for like forever, since they left, like 20 years ago. So it's exciting to see them finally coming back into the States. Some other good news this week is Chevrolet has officially announced how much horsepower the Corvette Z06 makes, the new 2015 one. They said back at the Detroit Auto Show when I filmed the car and saw it, they were like, it's at least 625 horsepower, which isn't bad to begin with. But now they've officially announced 650 horsepower, 650 foot-pounds of torque. So yes, that beats the ZR1, and it's really impressive. It's the most powerful car that General Motors ever built, which is awesome. Like I said, I say this a lot. We live in amazing times. This is the crap we're going to be talking about to our kids and stuff in the future. That the most powerful production car GM ever built, and it's going to be for sale here very soon. I'm sure there's a long, long list of people already wanting to buy one of those, and yeah, I'd love to drive one day. Other cool Chevrolet Corvette news is they've trademarked Zora. Which, you know, they're thinking it's going to be a special edition of the Corvette because this gentleman by the name of, his last name Zora, he is kind of considered the father of the Corvette, so they're thinking they're going to do a tribute, kind of a centennial edition, you know, where they do with the Gran Sport or something like that, where, you know, they just want to do a special edition of the C7, but not a Z06. So something like that, kind of a mid-level car would be kind of cool. They just trademark the name. Who knows what it's for? It could just be for T-shirts or something. You never know. But still cool to see, you know, that they might make another model. While we're talking about special editions here, Porsche is celebrating their Le Mans return with a special edition of 911. It's the Martini edition. It has the sweet Martini graphics, and I still prefer the Gulf graphics, you know, the blue and orange the best, but this is my second favorite, the blue and this reddish color. It's really a sweet package, and it has like the Porsche Aero kit on it as well. It looks really good, actually. So cool to see that special edition. And some other interesting news. This is apparently official. This Polish supercar called the Ariniera, something like that. Trying here. Anyway, they're going to be launching this car called the Husaraya or something. I'm sorry, I can't even pronounce this. It's very interesting, but it's going to be called the Husaraya 33, I think. I probably butchered that, but anyway, this thing's going to be marvelous. Apparently, they're claiming 650 horsepower, 3.2 seconds 0 to 60, and 211 mile per hour top speed. So they're saying it's going to be, I think, starting to be produced this year, or late next year, sorry. Late next year they're going to be producing this. They're going to do 33 units, as you guessed from the name, and they're going to cost about 270 grand. Tough, I mean, it's good performance, but I mean, you can get a Ferrari 458 that has the same 0 to 60 time for the same amount of money. So, not sure how many people are going to go for these, but at least they're only building 33 of them. So for someone that wants something unique, there you go. Another cool thing is Lotus is honoring their F1 heritage by producing some limited edition Exige LF1s. And so basically, you know, we can't get them here in America. This is a Europe-only car because the Exige is no longer imported, unfortunately, because of our airbag laws. But it's good to see that they're doing this, and so all of you over there across the pond, you'll be able to enjoy this car. And yeah, so it looks pretty sweet. It has some upgrades, and I love the paint scheme as well. Last 3 stories are about BMW. So first, with the 2 Series, they announced for the 2015 model year they're going to be offering xDrive on all the models. I first reported they're going to be offering xDrive on the M235i, which is really sweet. So for those of you that wanted a turbocharged all-wheel drive BRZ, basically that's what an M235i is. So, you know, and you can get all-wheel drive. It's everything that everyone claims they want on the internet. But now they're saying they're offering it for all models. So if you just want a 228, which I think would still be plenty of pep, I drove the 428. That was plenty quick for the 4 Series. And the 2 Series, I think that'd actually be a really sweet package. That with all-wheel drive, manual transmission, that's a day. That's it. That's set. So yeah, exciting to hear that. And also, other 2 Series news is there's some spy shots here of the new 2 Series Cabriolet that was out tested. I mean, everyone assumed they're going to make a convertible version, and here we have it. So should be around, I don't know, next year probably. And so yeah, good to see they're following through with those plans. Last thing is some other cool BMW news. The 2015 BMW X6 that I talked about last week that was officially unveiled. They're going to have more power in it, but the cool thing is they're going to have a rear-wheel drive model. And so it's going to be called S-Drive, and then they have, you know, the X-Drive obviously for the all-wheel drive models. But it's good to see that it's getting some more power, and rear-wheel drive in an SUV is really sweet. So good to see that. So yeah, that's it for all the news this week, guys. Let's send it back to me in the car. Alright, so I'll leave you guys with a nice little acceleration here, like I always do. Got a second gear chirp that time. I'm getting better with driving this car fast, I think. But yeah, it's lots of fun, and as you saw in the autocross video, you know, a couple weekends ago, that was fun too. And yeah, this is a fun little car. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you next time. Take care.